this is day 6 of chapter 2b of probability and statistics. Our topic today is transformations. So today you will be able to find how transformations affect data. Alright, so what does transforming data mean? Well, transforming data means we perform an operation on it. So we either add or subtract something from all of the data points, or we multiply or divide all the data points by the same thing. And so you might ask, why would we transform data? Well, some instances when we're changing units. If we have something in feet, we want to change all the data to inches, we would multiply it all by 12. Or what if you decide that it was a bad test score and you're going to add 5 points to everyone's score? That's another instance when someone would transform data. And so here we have a list of test scores. It's from Mrs. Lau's class. They took a test and she wanted to adjust their test scores. Which way would be best? So she was going to either add 5 or multiply it by 2. And so let's make some guess about how all these things are going to change if we add 5. Well, we have n. N is the number of scores. The number of scores are 30. Would those number of scores change at all if she added 5? No, there's still 30 students, still 30 test scores. Okay, that would stay the same. The mean of all this data set is 84.8. So if we added 5, would that change? Well, everything's going to be skewed up, so maybe that would change. How much? I don't know. Let's make a guess of 90. Standard deviation. If the test scores change, just by adding 5, is that going to change how much it deviates? Well, if we think about that, visualize your curve, your normal curve, and you just take it and you shift it over. Does that change the standard deviation? Not really, so I'm going to guess that that's going to stay the same. Is it going to change the minimum? Well, we added 5 to the minimum, so probably, best guess, it's probably going to be about 48 then. Is it going to change quartile 1? Well, we added 5 to everything, so my guess is that's going to change to 87. Is it going to change the median? Well, once again, we added 5 to all the numbers, and this is a real number in our data set, so add 5, 92.75. Same thing with quartile 3. I'm going to guess it's going to be 98, and the maximum is now going to change to 103. Now, IQR, we calculate that. 98 minus 87 is still 11. I'm going to guess that that's going to stay the same. So now let's guess what's going to happen if we multiply by 2. Well, if we multiply by 2, are we going to change the number of data points we're dealing with? Nope, not really. It still says 30. The mean. The mean is got to change if everything's going to be doubled. So do you think it'll just double the mean? Well, if you think about the mean's about 85. If we double 85, we get about 170. That's my best guess. Do you think it's going to double the standard deviation? Yeah, maybe. It's about 13, double that's about 26. We'll see if we get that right. It's doubling every point. So if we double 43, we get 86. Doubled every point. So if we double this, we get 164. We get about, this is about 90. If you double 90, you get about 180. This is 93. If we double that, we get 186. If we double 98, that's about 100, so we get something close to 200. Now, IQR, we can make a guess about 186 to 164. I'm going to guess that that's going to about double. So we can make some guesses. Now let's check our guesses. I have a graphing calculator where I can type everything in and I can find all these data points and it'll do all the work for me. It's called, you can use your stat lists and then use one variable statistics. If you want me to show it to you, just come talk to me. Alright, so I went through and actually calculated these, and when I added 5, here's what actually happened. Just like I said, the mean went up by 5, the standard deviation stayed the same, the minimum went up by 5, the quartile 1 went up by 5, median went up by 5, quartile 3 went up by 5, the maximum went up by 5, and the IQR stayed the same. Okay, so really if you just take it, you're just taking that set of data and you're shifting it up 5. So it doesn't really change a whole lot. It just changes these points, our 5-number summary and our mean. So now if we double it though, we're taking that, we're doubling it, we're making it even bigger. Okay, well our number of samples stayed the same, but our mean doubled, our standard deviation doubled, our minimum doubled, our quartile 1 doubled, our median doubled, our quartile 3 doubled, our maximum doubled, and our interquartile range doubled. So everything doubled when we multiplied by 2, except for the number of samples that we did. Alright, so what I'm going to have you do now, here is another set of data. What I'd like you guys to do is try and find the new data points, the mean, the standard deviation, minimum, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, maximum, and IQR. So pause the video now and take the time to do that. Alright, so here I filled in my charts for my original means, subtracting 4 and multiplying by 3. So if we look at this, when we added or subtracted a constant both times, it just it shifted the 5-number summary and the mean, however many units we added or subtracted. That's all that happened. Okay, but when we multiplied by a constant, it multiplied everything but the number of terms by that number. Alright, so it changed our measures of center and our spread. Whereas adding or subtracting a constant, it changed changed the measures of center, but not the spread. Alright, so that's some stuff to think about as you do this. Alright, that is the end of Lesson 6 of Chapter 2b. Write your summary and your questions. The essential outcome is that I will be able to find how transformations affect data. Some things to think about: how does adding or subtracting a constant change the 5-number summary? How does multiplying by a constant change the 5-number summary?